The hard truth about buying the right vocal microphone is that there are only a few guaranteed microphones that will work on any voice, period. For some reason, it can seem like an astronomically difficult task, and it almost seems sometimes like no mic fits our voice, like nothing works, but there's a few things you need to consider when looking for the perfect vocal mic for you, because it isn't always the microphone that's getting in the way of you finding your dream mic. First and foremost, as a songwriter who's been working in the industry for a long time, I was sending out records all the time, cutting a lot of different records, recording a lot of different artists, and moving on to the engineer and production stage of my life. Recording people has been an integral part of my business and of my fulfillment as a creative person. There are so many different microphones and so many people who will tell you what to buy. How do you know who to trust? How can you know for sure that a microphone you're going to buy sound good on your voice just because somebody else recorded with it online and they say it's the one to go with? Or how do you know that people aren't just hyping things up and it's not just all hype and marketing? How do you know who to trust? It's really, really hard to know. And so I'm going to cover some really important things about vocal microphones that you need to know before buying one, and how you should go about buying the right vocal microphone. The hard truth about buying the right vocal microphone is that there are only a few guaranteed microphones that will work on any voice, period. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what kind of music you make, there are only a few microphones that work universally. The first one, whether you guys like it or not, is the SM7B. The SM7B is a tremendous microphone. It is one of the best microphones under $500, and it works wonders if you know how to use it. Another microphone that works on every single voice is a Neumann U87. It doesn't matter what kind of music you make. It doesn't matter who it is that's singing on the mic. It will deliver a result that is usable, that feels good, that will work for every single voice that you put on it. And now stepping up into the ridiculous price range, but one of my favorite microphones to hear and to receive audio on is the 251. Telefunken microphone. Of course, that's a very expensive microphone. I don't have one here at the studio, but it records very, very, very well. It's ridiculous how versatile that mic is as far as vocalists go. Now, of course, I'm missing all these other really great microphones. I'm missing all these things in between. Yes, other microphones can work for you, and I'm not saying you shouldn't try other microphones. But I guarantee you that if you book studio time with a studio that has these mics, or if you can go ahead and rent one of these mics, specifically the SM7B or the Neumann U87, and you cannot get a vocal take that you like enough, that you find to be passable, then there is something wrong with something else in your arsenal. Picking the right mic is not about every other mic being wrong for your voice. It's about finding that extra 5%, 10% of magic that you get from switching between microphones based on the case used, based on the register of your voice, based on different things to make your voice sound the best it possibly can. But that's not to say that any mic, any good mic, should work on your voice, period. If you are renting all kinds of microphones, buying all kinds of microphones, returning them, they're not the one for you, they are the one for you, you're struggling to figure out something that really works for you, you need to be looking at if your speakers are giving you accurate information or not. You need to look at whether you have ear fatigue by the time you're done recording because you listen really loudly on your headphones. So by the time you check it on your monitors after you're done recording, it sounds too dull. It doesn't sound right. You need to make sure that your cables aren't broken. You need to make sure that your preamps on your interface aren't damaged because you travel with it and you drop it all the time. Or I bought a hand-me-down that's like 20 years old. You need to look at the other things in your circumstance, in your chain, before you start pointing fingers at a microphone. I'll be the first to tell you I can make damn well any microphone sound musical in the right room, with the right outboard and the right vocal chain, and just the right amount of determination, because you got to be determined to figure something out. So for those of you who struggle a lot with your mic selection, the answer is not in what mic to buy. It's in making sure you realize that you have everything else working properly, along with your microphone recording technique, which if you would like to learn more about, please do comment below, because there is so much wrong with how people record their vocals and then complain about them after when they don't come out right. I'd be happy to go over that. But if your mic technique is good, if your vocal chain is good, if all of your devices are working, you should hypothetically, be getting a result that is at the least good, especially if you're using an SM7B, a U87, or a Telefunken microphone, a 251, which is ridiculously expensive. I don't expect you guys to go and try that, but at least you can, but not accessibly and not affordably. So get yourself maybe an SM7B to start. Plug it into an analog preamp that's very open, like a Focusrite ISA or a DACing Mic Pre 1, and then record yourself with it. If you are not happy with the way the recording feels, it is not about the microphone. If you are somebody who has a really good ability to record and has vocal takes that you're happy with, and you feel like you know what you like out of the microphone and you just want to be able to make it better, get to the next level, compete with the greats, that I understand, and that's its own conversation. Finding the right mic in that case looks a little bit different. If you're able to get a really good take on a U87, this is a good baseline for you because it's going to sound good, but it probably won't sound perfect. You need to get that recording and listen to what it is you don't like about it. Record on that microphone with a digital preamp and listen to what the U87, purely the U87, is doing to your vocal. You might identify, you know what, it sounds a little bit harsher than I'm comfortable with. You might think, wow, you know what, I never noticed how dark this mic is. I never noticed how much I have to scoop out of the low end. Or you might say, you know what, this sounds better than I remember. And that's you hearing the microphone, not the preamp, so that's a preamp problem. But if you decide that there is something wrong with that recording and wrong with the sound there, that's when you go and say, okay, well, if it is too bright, I should be looking for a smoother variant of this microphone or a similar microphone. Maybe I should be getting a tube microphone. It can handle sibilance a little bit better. If it's too dark, maybe you need a microphone that's brighter, something that's more shrill, more open, but still smooth, like a Manley reference cardioid mic. Maybe you have a really hefty, deep Atlanta type vocal, and you need something that really sits in the mix. A Manley reference cardioid mic will do really well at this. Pay attention to the flaws in the U87 recording that you do. When you do that correctly, you'll be able to replace the U87 with a microphone that handles specifically the inadequacies of the microphone. When choosing a mic, as long as you know what you're doing with the microphone and you know that you're at a stage where you should be looking at microphones and buying different microphones for your voice or for your artist voice, then the best baseline to start at is a U87 recording with a digital preamp, and listen to where it's lacking. Listen to where you want to hear something different and go from there. You'd be shocked. Ribbon mics are really, really dope and probably heavily underrated in the industry. As much as they're easy to break, they are phenomenal microphones. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys soon. Ciao.